Alrighty, let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with my friend Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. Keeping the faith, are you?
Another loss, eh? How many is that in a row?
Three in a row.
Three in a row. How many since Russell and Clefbaum went out?
Well, those three plus the overtime loss in Winnipeg.
4 out of 5.
4 out of, yeah. They won the game that the guys got hurt in, and they in the 5 games since neither was available, they're 1-3-1.
This was my fear, Bruce, heading into the year. You could see that the Oilers have a real chance to make the playoffs and compete this year. I always thought that. I still think they'll make the playoffs, but they are thin on defense, and I thought they might be able to handle the loss of one guy in their top 4.
Mm-hmm.
2, they fall apart. They are falling apart before our eyes, and the scoring chances in this game, Bruce, were 15 grade A chances for Tampa, put on a tremendous display of passing and offensive hockey, and just 7 for the Oilers. And so this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. Bruce, your good thing, what was it?
Well, you just touched on it. Basically the quality of the hockey game. I mean, especially brought by the visitors' first overall team in the NHL, and you could see why. They had the puck on a string, and they were just forcing mistakes all over the ice. And when the mistakes got forced, they were just all over them, and they were just flying into the holes, and the puck was zipping around, and they were firing shots and bang bang plays and cross seam one timers, and you name it. I mean, that's one hell of a hockey team. And I actually thought the Oilers played hard, and they played pretty good, and they just aren't good enough to beat Tampa Bay. Not shorthanded as they are, with the weakness they have on the back end, and Tampa was just took full advantage, and it was a hell of a display. I mean, Mikko Koskinen gave in 5 goals tonight. You tell me which one was his fault.
I didn't have him at fault on any of them. No, my good thing is also will actually be the play of the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they gave up. I thought they really, really played a hard game, and they were intent on winning that game right to the end, and were pushing hard to win it. And there was some unfortunate mistakes, and there were some bonehead mistakes that really cost them in the game. But when there's 15 grade A scoring chances, it's kind of I'm going to pick on one for my bad thing. I am going to pick on one of those mistakes.
Right.
But there was probably, well, let me just count, Bruce. Let me just count. I'm not going to count. It's going to take too long. But on the 15 grade A chances against, there were probably 30 to 40 major mistakes, okay? 30 to 40 players made major mistakes on those grade A chances against. And you could pick on any one of those mistakes if you want to as the deciding one. But for my bad thing, because this mistake has been repeated and I'm getting tired of seeing it, I'm going to pick on one by Zach Kassian. And this is on the penalty kill. And one of the things that really did in the Oilers penalty kill last year was the cross seam pass for, not just a grade A chance, although this was probably just a grade A chance by Stamkos. But, like sometimes they're like AAA, like, those 40% or 50% shots. And I don't know why Kassian's stick wasn't guarding that passing lane. You have Steven Stamkos over there on the half wall, man. Why are you worried about? Why is your stick positioning worried about the pass to the point? What are you thinking? And why is Kassian, like, frankly, at this point, why is he out there on the penalty kill? He has shown for 2 years straight here, he's playing great at even strength right now, but for 2 years strength, he has shown an inability to get proper stick positioning in the defensive lane, stick on puck to block that pass, that crossing pass. So that's why of the 40 major mistakes, I'm singling out that one because I've seen it too much and I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen 2 years straight of that happening over and over again on the Oilers penalty kill. And over again.
What's your bad thing?
Well, I'm just going to, I guess, single out one player. That's not really fair because he didn't have much of an impact on the game. But I was so impressed. I mean, this is pretty hard to do. Ryan Spooner, uh, he played 7 minutes and 20 seconds tonight, and he led the Oilers with 4 giveaways. And in fact, he had those 4 giveaways through the 2 periods when he played 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I thought he had another giveaway in the 3rd period, but I guess the scorekeeper called it a takeaway instead or something because he didn't get charged. But I mean, this guy was brought in here to bring some offense to the team, and all he did tonight was turn the puck over. You know, he had 1 shot. His line was outshot 6-2, -1, and and they just got their show run in the defensive zone. And I'm just not seeing any payoff at the other end of the rink, which is supposedly where he brings it. But I mean, 4 giveaways. I mean, how many times do you have the puck on his stick tonight? 4.
There was a terrible sequence. He in the first period, about 6 minutes left in the first period, and he's in the offensive end and coughs up the puck in a attempted kind of cross ice pass, and both Kajula and Nurse are swooping in there. So it's
and it wound up being a wide open 2-on-1.
Kajula with the flyby again, Nurse with his. And I'm going to get into this.
Crashed into each other. They were in the same spot, right?
Nurse with his terrible decision making. This might have been the worst decision making I've seen Darnell Nurse, and I'm going to get into this in a bit.
Okay.
Make in the again and again and again. And anyway, so it ends up with a 2-on-1. How they didn't score? I mean, poor Larson's back there and trying to clean up that mess. Yeah, Spooner. I wish I had something nice to say about the player, Bruce, but that was a terrible trade by Chiarelli. Strome was a very useful penalty killer, and he was a better two-way player at even strength than Spooner is turning out to be. Marginally better. It's not that Strome was very good either. I mean, we don't. The legend of Ryan Strome grows large in his absence. He was pretty mediocre too, but Spooner is the definition of mediocrity right now. I feel sorry for him. He just can't get anything going, and he doesn't seem like a Hitchcock kind of player at all. I don't know if he was a McClellan kind of player, but he's not long for this team, I don't think, Bruce. And we might see some other changes as well. I don't know what we're going to see, but I think those two guys. I think.
Run on a $4 million a year contract, and you look at the player and you say, where'd that come from? But I mean, I guess he had good results before, and maybe he'll get it together, but I can't say I'm confident at this point.
Yeah, he's really struggling. Well, he's making a lot of money, so that's got to be a massive consolation. That's a lot of money, so I'm not going to feel too sorry for him. Okay, my bad thing. I was hinting strongly at this. Darnell Nurse, Bruce, made 7 major mistakes on grade A scoring chances against. Now, if you're a top pairing defenseman, you're going to make 1 or 2 a game, and I won't say a word. I won't say a word. 7? Yeah. And most of them, he was shooting himself in the foot with terrible pinches. He was shooting up into the play. He was late on the pinch, late on the rush all the time, and constantly getting caught on 2-on-1s, leaving Larson back there. It was just like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Just is someone telling you to do that? And if they are, they're probably saying, well, do it, like, get in there, read the play better, like at least pick off the pass or have better timing on it. His timing was atrocious. He was too late on most of them. And a step or two too late, and he got caught again and again and again and again. 7. Wow. That's about as bad as it gets for. Clefbaum's had a few games like that last year.
Major mistakes on grade A scoring chances.
That's when it's your fault that the puck gets into the offensive slot of the Oilers. That's right. You're one of the guys. It's your fault. You might not be the only guy, right. Yeah. But you are fundamentally to blame for that The other team getting the puck into the inner slot for a dangerous shot on net, and that happened 7 times with Darnell Nurse. That's not good. You're like, hey, do you see my Christmas tree there, Bruce? I got it.
Yeah, I do. I see the top half of it anyway.
I position the camera.
Right on. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Yeah. So that, rather than your bad thing, that was your number, right? The 7.
Yeah, that was my number. Did I give my bad thing yet?
You said your
was
bad
Cassian.
thing was Cassian. Then you said your bad thing was the 7 scoring.
No, that's my number. Sorry.
That's your number?
Yeah.
No problem.
I got confused. Okay, what's your number?
My number is 45. That's how many shots on net Tampa Bay had tonight. And they had 16 in the first period, 14 in the second, 15 in the third, and they were just pounding away at them. I mean, even the last minute of play after they sealed the game with the all too easy instant pull the goalie, scoring the empty net right away, empty netter, they were still pounding away at the Edmonton's net in the late going. That's a team that's just hungry to score. And, you know, as an old-time 80s Oilers fan, I totally respect and admire a team that'll do that. They were just bringing it. But, you know, they only had 64 shot attempts, Tampa, and 45 of them were on goal. In other words, over 70% of their shot attempts were got through to the goalie, which was A, good plays by them, but B, the Oilers just were not able to defend against them.
They reminded me, Bruce, of the 2008-09, that era Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of really smart passing of the puck. Just outstanding teamwork. That's what it was like.
Yeah, well, that was the Red Wings team that had the famous The Shift when they trapped Strudwick and Chorney on the ice for 3 minutes and 45 seconds at one time, and they couldn't get off because the Red Wings just dominated the puck for the entire time. And yes, they remind me of that. But a little bit even more quick strike Tampa, like they have the puck on their stick and it's moving, it's pass, and then shot. Like they're not like 18 passes, it's like 3 or 4 passes, good shot, pound the net front for the rebound. And the Oilers just weren't able to defend them. And you know, time and again, Tampa was in better position, and you had, you know, Cassian can't take out the passing lane on that pass to Stamkos, or you have Kucherov and Stamkos turning McDavid inside out on the 5-3 goal. Or you got Kajula getting on the wrong side of JT Miller on the one, was a 3-2 goal that put him ahead to stay. And Kajula, I mean, he wound up being basically useless on the play.
He's in no danger of winning the Selke Trophy, Bruce.
No, ever.
If there's an anti-Selke Trophy.
Yeah. No, anyway, he got on the
Kajula
wrong side of Miller.
He
couldn't handle his stick. He couldn't, you know. And Hitchcock had him playing center tonight, David. Mind you, his options were a little shy with Kara being suspended. But Kajula.
Here's where we lost. We mourn the loss.
I missed Kara a lot in this game.
So did I, Bruce.
Yeah. Anyway, the Oilers, I think, were exposed defensively tonight. And you mentioned Nurse, of course, and the top pairing, and really the first line. For all that they got, you know, McDavid. Here's McDavid's stat line: 0 goals, 3 assists, 3 points, -3.
And he earned a lot of those minuses.
Yeah, I mean, of course, one of them is the inevitable empty netter. Koskinen was on the bench for 12 seconds this time.
Maybe he just earned one of them, eh? How many did he earn?
Well, I would say 2, but he had a turnover.
Oh yeah, he had
in their end on one of them, and then
face-off loss on the one.
Yeah. Anyway, it's and you know, he had a really good game. Like he was flying. He was quite dominant at times, and still -3. I mean, what does that say about the Bolts other than?
Was he only -3 because I thought he was on the ice when Puljujärvi turnover? Was he not on the ice there?
Yeah, well, he was on for 4 against and 1 for.
Oh, excuse me. Gotcha. Okay.
And then he was on for 2 power play goals for, but of course they don't get plus for that.
Bruce, I should add that in Nurse's 7 major mistakes on chances against, one of them isn't the pass to Puljujärvi. And I know there's some people who saw that as a bit of a hand grenade.
Yep.
But I did not. I saw that as NHL pass, hard pass that you'd expect the other player to handle. And I don't want to be too hard on Puljujärvi. It was just people bobbled passes. This happens. It was one of the 40 mistakes.
It was a bullet pass from very short range. It kind of reminded me of that time. Here's your mandatory 70s sports reference coming. Joe Pisarcik, a quarterback with the Calgary Stampeders, that had just an absolute rifle for the arm, and he dropped back and he tried to hit his receiver with his with a screen pass. Well, he hit the receiver all right. He knocked the guy down from about 5 yards away. just hit him right in the breadbasket and bowled him over. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was a bullet pass, and it wasn't like he was zipping it deep in the zone. He was zipping it to a guy 5 feet inside the blue line, and JP couldn't handle it, and before you knew it, he was on the third line. So,
I guess in theory, I mean, if Nurse might have moved to the middle of the ice after making that pass, he kind of stood there and watched it. Although it was such a bullet, there wasn't a whole lot of time to react. But
and it's just JP's luck, I mean, Kucherov had 2 clear-cut breakaways. McDavid coughed the puck up to him on the other one. That time, Koskinen made the save, and the time it was Puljujärvi who coughed it up. Of course, that's the time that he scores.
And Puljujärvi had just made a nice rush by then. Yeah, and you knew that on his second breakaway, Kucherov was going to sink it. You just knew, like, once was
center, and I was counting 2-2.
Yeah, me too. So some bad luck from he made a nice play on the first goal. He charged hard at the net and had another grade A scoring chance, and then they, of course, yank him off the top line immediately. He did look a little discombobulated after that mistake, and probably was a good idea to just cool the jets. Well, anyway, like I said, Bruce, we could talk about all 40 of these different mistakes, and I don't actually think that Nurse made a terrible mistake there. It was just no one would have said anything if Puljujärvi had handled that pass like he would 9 out of 10 times. Well, and he just bounced off his stick.
Part of the issue was that Tampa Bay forced the pace of the game up to a level that the Oilers were not able to execute at.
Correct.
They were trying to make these fast-paced plays, and they made a lot of them, but they also, as you say, made plenty of mistakes. And when they did, the Bolts know how to make you pay for them. I mean, Koskinen, he actually did make several terrific saves. I ain't giving Koskinen a flunking grade tonight, and I'm tempted to give him a plus grade.
I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm thinking too.
He kept him in there, Bruce.
5 goals against, but hey, like I say, what are you going to do? Stop Steven Stamkos, 2 rockets? You're going to stop Kucherov on 2 breakaways instead of just 1? You're going to stop tap-ins from the edge of the crease 2 times? I mean, it was Oilers defense that got torn open for 45 shots and 15 grade A scoring chances.
I don't know what they need Russell back, I guess. Hopefully
they need somebody back.
Well, Chris Russell, Bruce, there's been 3 strong defensemen on the Oilers this year: Larson, Klefbom, and Russell. Now Larson's faded a bit since Klefbom's been out, and I think it might be partly due to a little bit of being banged upness, but those 3 guys, and they need Russell. They got to get him back. He will help calm down Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
And maybe with Larson you play Caleb Jones. Maybe that's and then you go with Gravel and Benning on your third pairing. So and that might be enough. I didn't mind. I like his.
Looks like an NHL defenseman to me.
Oh, he's easily in the Oilers' top right now. Well,
yeah.
Do the Oilers have a top? They don't really have, like, everyone's just playing so crappy. But he's easily in the top 6. He should be playing, and he might even be playing at kind of a top 4 level on this particular team at this particular time. So, but anyway, that's what I want. That's what I want for Christmas as an Oilers fan, at least, is a healthy Chris Russell back on the blue line. And I think that will help his team quite a bit.
Well, I wrote today in the pregame about how the injuries have forced basically all of the Oilers defensemen to play above their level. And here tonight we have shots on goal percentage, 37% Larson, 38% Nurse, 28% Gravel, 32% Jones, 29% Benning, 35% Garrison. So every one of them below 40%.
That was quite the wipeout by Gravel on the on the one goal. Jeez, that was painful.
Yeah,
Nonetheless, they could have stopped it.
I saw you had Gravel falls on face as a mistake in
Even
the
though he didn't fall
card
on his
chest.
face.
I think that's a new category right there.
Yeah. That'll be a new number.
Oh. Hey,
all right, Bruce.
It was a fun game. I enjoyed that game. I have to say, I enjoyed that game. And I knew the Oilers were in deep against the Bolts, and they were. And the Bolts put on a show, and we got some good moments from the Oil, and we know we have some deficiencies to work on. So onwards and upwards to the 27th. I think the Canucks are in town next. Now that's a game. If you lose to the Canucks, I won't be in as good a mood as I am after this loss.
So, Bruce, you are grading the games tonight because our good friend and colleague Kurt Levens is having a little technical difficulties of a pretty dramatic kind. There was a huge storm on the BC coast, and all the power is out, I guess, on Pender Island. Has been out for a couple of days. I don't know, somehow Kurt's phone is still going, and they got a wood fireplace in the house, so they're staying warm. But
propane and wood fire, that's what's keeping Kurt warm and fed, and his family. And I think the power's been out for a good 2 days now, and sounded like it might be a while before it came back. So
they're really going to have an old style Christmas on Pender Island.
I guess so. Well, I'm pinch hitting for Kurt tonight. So anyway, I've got to get kind of a difficult job to grade that game in some ways, but I'm just going to throw a few darts at the wall.
Alrighty.
A tried and true tradition.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this. Thanks, Bruce, for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas to all of our faithful followers. I appreciate you guys tuning into us on an ongoing basis. Fun to chat to you.
Indeed. Merry Christmas to everyone. And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.